Royal Caribbean is one of the most popular cruise lines in the world. Each year, millions of passengers take a trip on the cruise line, with more than 24 ships sailing all corners of the planet. And whether you've sailed the line before or you've never ever stepped foot on one of their ships, there's plenty that you need to know about sailing the cruise line before your next cruise. From which ships to sail, to how much you'll pay for things on board, I'll share some of the most important things about the cruise line right now. Let's start with what I think is one of the most important things to know about sailing on Royal Caribbean, and that is that the newest and the biggest ships are much different than the older ships in Royal's fleet. Royal Caribbean, they are known for having the largest cruise ships in the world. The Oasis class ships are literally the biggest cruise ships on the planet. And other newer ships like the Quantum class are also huge, though not quite the same size as the Oasis ships. Still, both of these classes are very different from the other ships in the fleet. The newest and the largest ships, they have the ability to put all the latest and greatest on board. I'm talking things like the Aqua Theater on the Oasis class ships, which features a one-of-a-kind water show and Central Park, and the North Star on Quantum class ships or bumper cars. The end result is that even if you sailed Royal Caribbean before, the experience is much different on the newest and largest vessels in the fleet. They can simply offer more variety of things to do on the ship compared to the older ships. Now, there's plenty to do on a Royal Caribbean cruise that is included with your cruise fare. On the largest ships, you can do everything from ziplining to wave riding to catching some shows that match or even beat anything that you've seen on Broadway or in Las Vegas, and it comes at no extra charge. But don't expect that everything on the ship is free. Specifically, Royal Caribbean has lots to eat, but extra charges. For example, there's the main dining room, the Windjammer buffet, and then some spots here and there to eat for free, but they serve mostly snacks. But the majority of the restaurants, especially those with sit-down service, they are an extra charge. So if you want to eat Italian, a burger, or seafood, it's going to be an extra charge unless grabbing it from the buffet or the dining room. Outside of the buffet, there are some spots that serve hot dogs, pizza, Mexican food, but except for El Loco Fresh, it's hard to call these offerings actual meals. They're more like snacks. If you're wanting to get the full dining experience on board, then be prepared to pony up for some of those specialty restaurants. Trying to budget for your cruise? Then two words might be the most annoying to you: dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing is something that Royal Caribbean uses for many things on the ship. It's a fancy way of saying there's no set price, but the price of items on board can change. So how much is a drink package on Royal Caribbean? No one knows until you book your cruise. The price varies from trip to trip. The same thing with things like admission to Thrill Water Park on COCOCAY. Now, there are price ranges that you will see, but dynamic pricing can make it hard to know what things cost until you have actually booked your cruise. If you've never cruised before, or it has been a while, then you might have the wrong impression about onboard entertainment. Maybe you're picturing something hokey or tacky with performers that couldn't cut it somewhere else. Nothing could be further from the truth, especially on Royal Caribbean. The cruise line puts a serious focus on entertainment with shows that you won't see anywhere else on land or at sea. Take the Aqua Theater on those Oasis class ships that I mentioned. Here you have a high energy performance with a pool that raises and lowers up to 18 feet. Divers jump through the water from crazy heights. Performers fly over the crowd, literally over the crowd. And dancers do these unique stunts both in and out of the water. Theater shows will blow you away, including one superhero show that I saw on Odyssey of the Seas, The Effectors, with a villain that commands an army of drones that fly out over the audience. If you think that the shows on your ship aren't going to be worth your time, then I'm telling you, you need to reconsider. Now, head to Royal Caribbean's website, and you'll most likely see a big advertisement for the latest sale. And not to burst your bubble, but these sales, they don't really mean that much from what I've seen. Cruise lines, including Royal Caribbean, they offer sales constantly. And while the offer may be tweaked here and there, they largely come out to the same price. For example, cruises are charged at double occupancy, meaning 2 people for a room. So one sale might have 30% off all guests, and the next one might have 60% off a second guest. It all comes out to the same price. If a cruise line needs to fill a ship, then they can cut prices for that specific trip instead of having a huge fleet-wide sale. Don't expect that waiting around for a special sale will save you tons of money. A little tip that I have shared before, but it's great to know, is that the room numbers also serve as direction markers on Royal Caribbean. Now, when you're walking down your cabin hallway, it's very easy to get turned around. There's no windows, and you don't know if you were headed forward or aft. Different ships use different room numbers, the little plates that go next to the cabin, but each one points the way to the front of the ship. In some cases, it's a small arrow that points forward on the sign, similar to what you find on the fuel gauge of a car to tell you which direction your gas cap is on. Older ships, they often have a wave above the room number. If you have one of these waves, then the higher end of the wave shows the way forward. This little tip, it can help you from walking the length of the ship only to realize that you were heading the wrong direction the entire time. You cannot talk about Royal Caribbean without mentioning its private island destination, COCOCAY. The official name is Perfect Day at COCOCAY, and the cruise line, they spent hundreds of millions to transform it to a full-blown destination. On the island, you'll find perfect beaches, one of the largest swimming pools that you have ever seen, an exclusive beach club, and a full water park with the tallest water slide in North America. Culturally, it may not be the most interesting place to visit, but if you are simply wanting a place to relax and enjoy some of the most beautiful water on the planet, all in a place that is custom made to cater to cruise passengers, then it cannot be beat. Oh, and one other reason to love it, your drink and your internet packages on the ship, they also extend to the island. Keeping with COCOCAY, since it's sailed to from seemingly every itinerary leaving the East Coast, Royal Caribbean passengers should know that the island can either be the best value that you'll see or one of the most expensive places that you'll visit. On COCOCAY, there is tons to do, and you can spend the entire day hanging out on the beach, swimming in the pool, playing beach games, or just working on your tan. That's all free, and many people opt for these things. But if you want more to do or a more comfortable experience, then be ready to open up that wallet. The water park on the island, it costs money, often upwards of $80 per person. There's the Coco Beach Club, which is a private area on the island with its own pool and restaurant that also charges an admission fee. Ziplining, or the balloon that soars over the island, or jet skis, cabanas, daybeds, they are all an extra charge. In fact, the price for some cabanas runs into the thousands of dollars for one day. So if you want to enjoy the day and not spend a dime, it is possible, but the full experience is going to cost you a bit more. When it comes to the best cruise line for kids, Royal Caribbean takes the gold medal in my opinion, especially if your kids are a little bit older. Now, any major cruise line, they will offer up lots for kids to do, but I don't think that you'll find one that has as much going on as Royal Caribbean. They offer splash pads and water slides on board, the Flow Rider standing wave, climbing walls, arcades, escape rooms, bumper cars, sport courts, and even dedicated teen hangouts that are frankly so cool they will make mom and dad jealous. Any parent knows that kids need seemingly constant stimulus to keep them entertained. Royal Caribbean offers that in heaps. If you have an upcoming cruise on Royal Caribbean, then I hope that these things to know definitely help you out. Royal Caribbean, it is definitely one of my favorite cruise lines personally, especially when you sail on the newest and the biggest ships. In other words, I think that you have a lot to look forward to. For more on getting ready for your cruise, be sure to check out Cruzely's other videos, or you can find us on Cruzely.com. And as always, remember to subscribe, like, and comment. Until next time, happy cruising.